My name is Alleen-Willems, and I'm here to talk about my experiences over the last year or so writing the blog for my company, Archaeology. Through this presentation, I'll present a couple of easy ways to start blogging, briefly touch on why I think some of my previous blogs have failed, and offer my thoughts on how to keep a blog going, who I blog for, and why archaeologists should consider keeping a blog. Before we get started though, I'd like to ask you for a raise of hands. How many of you currently have or have written? How many of you are interested in starting a blog? And how many folks is a different session? Starting a blog is easy. There are numerous sites that will host your blog. Google's Blogger site and Tumblr.com. These sites take mere minutes to register an account and allow you to post text and pictures from your computer or mobile phone. If you want a little more control over your blog, have the technical staffing and patience to keep up with running software updates, you can also install blogging software, such as WordPress, which runs independently from WordPress.com on your own web server and integrate it into an existing website. This is the option I chose for the current blog on my company's website. If you'd like to dip your toes into blogging before going in on your own, you can also contribute to group or mass blogs. In particular, I found that the Day of Digital Humanities and Day of Archaeology open blog projects have been great ways to not only read about what other archaeologists have been up to, but also to join in the discussion with a minimum of effort. Projects, a hardworking group of volunteers, set up and maintain centralized websites that contain hundreds of blogs written by digital humanists and archaeologists in the span of just 24 hours. Each blog representing a slice of life that allows readers to get a sense of the width and breadth of the discipline. The 2014 Day of Archaeology, I'll mention, is now open for registration, which will be held on July 11th of this year. Other ways to try out blogging are to write for one of the group blogs focused on specific subjects, such as the Play the Past blog, a blog about cultural heritage and games and meaningful play, run by archaeologist Sean Graham, or writing a guest post like the ones Bill Carrar has published on the site, The Archaeology of the Mediterranean World. Starting a blog is easy, but keeping one going takes more work. After I graduated from my undergraduate university, I started a blog, The Traveling Trout, to write about shovel bumming across the United States, doing itinerant fieldwork for cultural resource management firms. I made it about 8 posts in before eventually losing interest. Looking back, it wasn't that I didn't have lots of fodder for things to write about, but the lack of focus. I found that trying to talk about everything in CRM, archaeology, was a cripplingly broad topic for me. A fear of revealing site locations through pictures or proprietary information that clients would object to also led me to password protect the blog after only a few posts. Closing the site to approved users obviously limited the reach of the blog, as well as the chance to interact with readers and commenters. After a few years of not blogging at all, I started a new blog on the now defunct Ostrich service. I had to pull the screenshot from the Google cache for resolution, where I used the new name, Diachronic Design. This time around, I had a bit more of a focus for my writing, digital tools and archaeology, particularly presenting archaeology through games and digital media. This blog died for 2 reasons. Again, I was reluctant to share posts until I felt that they were sufficiently finished, and I wasn't creating anything valuable enough for others to want to use. About a year ago, I started my 3rd blog that, like a Monty Python-esque castle, hasn't burned down, fallen over, stuck into a swamp, maybe, for now, yet. Welcome to Diachronic Design Mark II, my current blog. After having learned a bit about what made it hard for me to keep a blog going, this time I determined a few rules. First, I constrained my topics to digital archaeology, using computer tools to collect, analyze, present, and archive archaeological data and information. In my initial post, I also laid out what I wanted to accomplish with the blog, which was not just to document digital archaeology projects, but to critically review software, highlight projects, and share tutorials on how to apply different software for specific archaeological tasks. Finally, I set a conservative goal of posting one new post each month, and publicly committed to that goal. For me, I sometimes struggle to write even one new post each month. Again, it's a difference in writing style, but I have a hard time limiting myself or editing my posts down to about 1,000 words. Chris Webster, who you'll hear from later today, and other bloggers have written about why smaller posts encourage people to read more and how to cover complicated topics in a series of posts. I'm working on focusing my posts, and I find that taking on too large a topic leads to me having a backlog of long but unfinished and therefore unposted articles. The most effective way I've found to write blog posts is like writing anything else. That is, scheduling time regularly to spend at least 30 minutes or an hour writing. A tool I've found particularly helpful is challenging and accepting challenges from other archaeologists on the social network Twitter to commit to an hour of mad writing, where folks post their counts of words written in the past hour online. Even though I can easily post a fictitious word count, the peer pressure helps me focus on solely writing for an hour, because I know I'm accountable to another person somewhere out there. Seeing a response from readers is a huge motivator to keep writing. To that end, I installed a few plugins on my blog, which allow me to see when a link to a post is shared on social media like Facebook or Twitter. I've not been able to generate many comments in my blog posts, but seeing the social media numbers increase has given me some information about which topics are more popular. Additionally, I added a piece of code to my website that uses Google Analytics to track which posts are accessed the most, how people are finding them, and how people are finding them, whether through social media, finding the link from another web page, or searching for help on a topic. The title of this presentation suggested an answer to the question, is blogging academic? To which I answered, no, at least not my blog. As discussed in the president's session for this very meeting, the academic publishing landscape is changing, however. As Richard Kansas and Blau 2011 note, blogs can form more and more of the middle space between scholarly publication and conversation, where archaeologists can use writing and fast publishing to generate, critique, and refine our ideas before turning those ideas into publishable articles. The blogging format and social media websites in general put archaeologists on more equal footing with one another, with academics, CRM archaeologists, students, applicationalists, and the publics we serve, all having access to the web as a platform to talk to each other and respond to ideas. Sean Graham of the blog Electric Archaeology points out that even if it feels like no one is reading, Google and other search engines are paying attention to which topics archaeology blogs think are important and returning those as search results for the public. Like my post, I hope my talk today has perhaps provided some of you in the audience with ideas of at least a few mistakes to avoid if you'd like to start participating in the archaeological blogging community, and I hope you will. As I mentioned earlier, however, although I love it when someone tells me that a post I've written was helpful, I'm often the primary beneficiary. Through researching topics, practicing my writing, failing at a wide array of tasks, but always trying things again, the past few months of working on my company and my blog have helped me immensely, professionally and personally. Thank you to the organizers of today's session, the audience, and especially the network of archaeology bloggers who have helped us all by pushing back the boundaries in this new arena for archaeological thought. Thank you.
So we're going to have about 5 minutes for questions if anybody has any real quick.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll take a second. We've got a couple minutes. I don't want to start early because that throws everyone off. We've got that.